Hey loves, hey, happy Sunday. I hope everybody is having a great day so far. Instead of my usual Sunday dinners and playing the games with the kids, I'm actually in here changing inner tubes to our bikes. I'm not a gym person, so going to the gym, I've been trying, you guys. I cannot be confined into that damn room exercising. It's sticky in there. So back to our outside, riding our bikes, doing our walks, is just as good. You know what I mean? Cardio's good. Eventually, I'm going to learn me some gym routines to the point I can't be doing them inside the house or going to the gym just to do, my biceps workout and, all the other good shit. Anyway, I'm changing tires. I have Khalif bike sitting here. We've already did 3 out of the 4 bikes. The only one left is mine. But I have his sitting upright because our brake system is the same. Me and him have a V-brake. So with the V-brakes, all you're doing to release the brake from the tire is squeezing these hooks here. When you squeeze them hooks here, you're going to pull that cord right here through the loop. It's a little rubber right here to protect it as well. Pull that, lift, and release. That is the way that you release the brakes for a tire with V-brake is what they call it. Once you change your inner tube and replace the tire, you do the same thing to put it back. Squeeze these 2 side hooks here. Here go the latch, if you guys can see that. It got a little opening where this wire sits back into. Pull that wire back into that latch. Once the wire is in the latch, you want to make sure that the latch is on this metal piece here. And then slide your rubber piece back over to protect it. That is the way you relieve the brakes from a V-brake, okay? So, Kalia don't have a V-brake, I'm sorry. She has back brakes. For the back brakes, it's simple. Only thing you're doing is removing the lug nuts to the bike and replacing it. There's no gear to her bike. Her tire is a 26. Riari is the same. She has no gear to her bike as well. Her bike is a 20-inch. She has, what these are called, Ring? Pegs on her bike. For the pegs, you just screw them off. Underneath this peg, there's the lug nut to change the tire. Now, in some neighborhood, pegs get stolen, okay? So you can also lock your pegs. We lived in the area before that every time we turned around, the pegs off the kid's bike was always missing. Screw it back on. The lug nut is underneath there to change the tire. We're going to be working on my bike. I have a 26-inch beach cruiser as well. I'm going to show you guys how to replace the inner tube. This is the inner tube that I'm using. It's a 26-inch. I believe the slime is real. I think it really worked. I'm going to show you how to know your size of the tire. So Riari's recording for me and have her just come around. So that way we can show you how to find your inner tube size. On the bike here, there's a 26. And then it says by 2.125. You're going to make sure that you're just matching your numbers. This one's a 26 and it go from 1.75 to the 2.125. As long as them numbers is in that, you good to go. But on the bike tire, it has your rim size, okay? I already undid the front tire. If you guys want me to upload a video showing you how to take off a tire or bike, just let me know, okay? But they do have a tool, okay? There's a tool to wedge the tire from the rim. I'm using me a butter knife. It is what it is, okay? Now, when you take off your lug nuts of the bike, make sure that you release the brakes first in the way that I showed you. And also deflate the extra air remaining inside the inner tube, okay? I'm using me a butter knife. I'm going to get this butter knife and we're going to wedge it up under the tire. The key is to get the tire on one side to come over that rim. So that way we can get that inner tube out, okay? Run your finger all around it like I'm doing here. And I usually go all the way around until I'm back into the nozzle for the air. So I like to work with it that way. Okay, so I'm going to set this. I'll take this out. Once you have your tire out, You're going to get that little piece here, if I can get my hand there. Bam. Okay, pull the inner tube out. Inner tube's out. This is my 26 slime inner tube here. Take off your cap. What you're going to do is make sure the inner tube is facing down, and you want to wedge it back inside the home of the tire, okay? So facing down, inner tube goes in. I've been doing it sitting down, so me trying to stand and do it is hitting a little different for me. Okay, once the inner tube is in the hole, I just got it resting here, you guys, just to help me. You want to make sure you put the inner tube in the bed of the tire without folding it. Okay. It's easier because I don't have a stand right here to rotate it on. I've been sitting down doing it, so I'm going to squat. You guys, please bear with us. Riyara, you are doing so good, isn't she, y'all? Keeping it on and not going with all my moving. Okay, so you're making sure the inner tube is going, but you're making sure that you're not folding it another way because you don't want it in there twisted. I'm not sure if when it inflate, if that really matters, but with me, I'm just keeping it flat. I'm putting it in the bed of the tire. I had to sit down so that way I was able to rotate the tire on my lap as I was turning it. Sometimes it can sit in the wheels of the tire pretty good, but it wasn't going that way for me. All right, so I have the inner tube in. I'm going to take my fingers and you're going to squeeze both sides of the tire. Let me see if we already can get this for us. You're going to squeeze both sides because you want to make sure that the tire is back inside the rim. You want to make sure the tire is back inside the rim. You guys can see that? Okay, so you're squeezing it. Okay. Bam. The tire is back on the rim. I see some little peekaboos right here. So since I already see that peekaboo right there, you guys see that, how my rim is kind of sticking out here? My rim, my inner tube is. So that right there is already a no-go. Because I don't want it. Okay. All right, so the inner tube is in there. What you're going to do is get your bike pump. I got this off Amazon for about $15. You're going to inflate the inner tube just a little bit. You're going to inflate it just a little bit just so that way it'll take shape. But you don't want to inflate it too much because you want it to be able to fit back on the rim of the bike. I mean, on the, between the wedge. That don't sound like it's in there. Y'all hear that? That's definitely not on. All right, let's try that. All right, I don't hear that one. All right, give it some air. All right, you don't want to give it too much. It's just enough to get the inner tube enough to take shape of the tire, okay? So, putting it back on, you're going to put it back into the bed rest. The bikes give you openings of where the tire should be placed. It should still be open enough in the brakes to slide back in. Sometimes if I put too much air, just give it a little squeeze, it will fall back into place of the brake, okay? Get your tire. Make sure that you put it back in the rest, okay? Once you put it back in the rest, I usually screw it first before I inflate the tire back to where it should be. Thank you, Khalif. I got Khalif down here. He's helping me, you guys, with my tools. I thought I had a flat one that went behind these, and I guess not. Screw it back on. Okay. In the midst of the screwing, this is the tool I told you guys that I was using. It's an adjustable wrench, and it comes with the lug nut part at the end for me. Screw your lug nut back on so that it's tight. I hold one side because sometimes the other side will twist, and then you'll find yourself twisting, and it's not even getting tight. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing y'all see me do on this side to that side. You don't have to show that side, Mary. Thank you, though. So we're going to screw both sides, right? Khalif, can you finish screwing this?
Yes.
And then we're going to inflate your tire. So while he's screwing that, I'm going to go ahead and get this all locked and ready. In the midst of pumping it, make sure that you're feeling around the tire, because you want to make sure that the inner tube's not poking out of the ridges nowhere, that the seams of the tire is back in the rims of the bike. So the rim should be sitting in neatly all the way around. And you just pump. Also on the tires, it also tells you to inflate. Mine say to 40 PSI. On my pump right now, it's still saying 20. So let's see. You can use that bottom part. All right, that says 40. All right, you guys, this is fully ready to go. What I'm going to do when I flip the bike back over, I'm going to tighten my brakes back up as far as holding the size of the V-brake, okay? While Khalif doing that, I'm going to show you guys the back tire as well. Have we already go that way for us, okay? When you get done, can you put the valve back on there? Now, my back tire is a little tricky because it is a gear change bike, right? So, bear with me, you guys. With the gear change bike, you want to make sure that the chain is always on the small one. So that means if you have a gear change bike that got numbers on it, put it up to, if it's like 1 through 7, put it on 7. But you want it to jump to the smallest chain, okay? Mine was a little different. This was the tire that was stripped. So I had to do a little extra removing as far as the bolts and stuff go for this one. You got the little one that was right there? Yeah. So I had to do a little bit different because this one was stripped. But let's get it started. And if you guys want me to show you how I removed this chain and loosen up everything, I will post it in a separate video, okay? But the same thing for the back tire for now. Okay, you're going to lift the back tire right out of its bed. Sometimes you have to wedge it out a little bit. Hold on to the frame, pull up on it. Okay. All right, so this is the tire. As you guys can see, this tire is flat. I'm going to get me a butter knife. Take away this little piece here. Hold on. I've been using the tools for the ball pump to just poke the little part on the inner tube so that way any remaining air in the inner tube, you can hear it. You want it to release it. So just make sure you release all the little extra little air. It does make it a lot easier. I'm gonna put this on our little workout spot. Get your butter knife, or if you have the bike tool that slides up under it, it works too, or a flathead screwdriver as well. You just want something so that way you can get up under that tire. And just work your way around. Now, putting the tire back, they say that tool work as well, but you just want to make sure that you don't nick the new inner tube. I don't even try it, because I know me, I will nick it. Work your hand all the way around. Get one side of the tire to come on out. Once you do that, pull it from where the valve is. Okay, you see that valve there. Once you get that valve, pull it out. And then you can go inner tube and flow right on with it. Okay, back go the inner tube that I'm changing. I'm going to reach down. You guys can look at how I got that tire off while I get the inner tube over here. Excuse me. Okay, so same thing again. This one is not a slime one. This was an extra 26 that I had already stored. This is the basic. I don't know where the box is for this one. Face inner tube going down. You always start where the valve is, okay? Find the hole for the valve. Inner tube, you want to face it down. Make sure that it's facing completely down and not sideways and rigid, because then you know your inner tube is not sitting in the bed of the bike correctly. You guys know that I'm going to have you guys come on and kneel down with me because I need to sit to do this so that way I can rotate the wheel the way I need it to on my lap. We already will keep it on the tire, those of you guys can at least see that. Keeping it flat. You're going to put the inner tube in the bed of the tire. Rotate it around. If you have something better off that it can sit on, being that I'm in the living room doing this, this is, we gotta do what we gotta do to make it work, okay? And if the tire come all the way off the rim, it's okay to still the same method. If it come all the way off, you're going to just inflate it a little bit more so that way it can take full shape. Because when the tire comes completely off the rim, you guys, you would think that it's a complete wrong size because it don't match up at all when it's not stored on correctly. Okay. So let's finish putting this all in here. Careful not to fold it. You want to make sure you're going all the same way. All right, so I got it in there. Now I'm going to squeeze it on both sides to make sure that the seam of the tire here is going back into the rim, okay? Now this part is important. If this don't make it back into the rim, then you are risking damaging your new inner tube, possibly your whole tire, and you will have to replace that tire. So I have this back into the rim all the way around on both sides. Okay? So what I'm going to do is get this tire. I'm going to put it back in the bed. Sorry. Back in the bed. Sometimes you do have to go ahead and kind of force it down in there too. And being that mine was a little different, I had to do some more other stuff. But I had to make sure I put that back. Okay, guys, so that one's going to take a little bit more work because I got to get that chain back on, and I can post that video of how that chain get back on. But the basic of the inner tube is complete. And then you're just going to hook it up into your air pump, and you're going to inflate it, okay? In the midst of putting your back tire back on, make sure that it is level. If you want me to post a video about how I put this tire back on, how I replace this chain, I can post that in a later video. Thank you guys for riding with us. Khalifa's putting my lug nuts on over there again. Y'all know me. Thanks for riding. That is the bare basics of how to get your inner tube changed, you know, and replace the tire. I can go in depth of details of that if you want. And she got this on her chest. I'm not doing this because I want to, okay? I'm doing it because I have to. We got to get our asses outside and ride. I'll holler at y'all later and have a great Sunday, loves.